I have a very special person here. I'm not going to make a formal introduction. I'm slightly slow right now. And I'm hoping that all of you can excuse me for that, including Nayati. Nayati, could you please get up? Jacob, iske baad hai hamara. Haan. Nayati is somebody who has been comparing for you since morning. She's been the host of the day, and she's done a brilliant job. Can we? Let me tell you why she's here. She's not here just because she can tell you who's going to come on the stage, but she's someone who takes the center stage. I've heard her talk, and she doesn't just talk. She's amazing with what she talks. I would have scheduled her to come tomorrow, but she's not available tomorrow. She's a very, very busy person who's taken out one whole day for me. In fact, we couldn't talk to each other at all. So thank you so much. So why is she here? I like that. She's here because she helps kids understand their sexuality. She's here because she guides the parents what to do. And this is really, really important because over here, there are children, there are parents who are sitting down, and there are children back at home who need help. We talk about transformation. Transformation cannot be complete without parents really understanding what is going on with their child. This today, what we are doing for the next 15 minutes between me and Nayati is because I'm seeing case after case of kids and parents who don't understand what to talk. The last bit that I will say is, before I give it to Nayati, is when you go for a driving license for a car, are you given the car and told you will know how to drive it? Which country allows anybody to take a vehicle, however old you are or young you are, and say, please take this, go on the main road and drive it? And that too on Mumbai roads. What will happen if you did that? But with sex education, children in my country, I don't know about other countries, children in my country are given 2 hours of a lecture in the school, and they're expected to understand their bodies, they're expected to understand what hormones are doing, and they're expected to drive their car, because after all, it's so easy to know how to do it. So I'm going to give it to Nayati from here, and we are going to go. Stop looking at the watch.
That's what I've done the whole day.
No, not anymore, Nayati.
No, absolutely. I'm on time too. But thank you, Anu.
So Nayati is going to talk about parenting, and please continue, and then I will talk about my case studies, because I don't want to take the stage completely.
Fabulous, fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So a different role for the next 10 minutes. I'm a sexuality educator and a coach. We call ourselves coach here because the other terms kind of put you in trouble. You can't call yourselves therapist. You can't call yourselves a lot of stuff. So coach was the safest title I could use, and title makes a huge difference. Just to be able to stand on a stage and talk about what you feel and what you want to speak to people about. Anyways, so I was pregnant with my second child. My son was 6 years old by then, older son, and I had a workshop in my child's school. And this doctor came here and spoke about something on sex education. I thought I was a very aware parent. I thought I knew exactly what needs to be done to have a relationship with my son, where he will come back to me to ask me whatever he wants to know. He will not go asking anybody else. The only thing I knew was I want to be honest. That's it. There was no topic in mind. There was no reasoning in mind. It was just simple, I want to be honest. So whenever the question, any question came to me, I just thought for a minute and I always gave the honest answer. And when this doctor started talking about sex education, it just completely opened a whole world about us, which I had not even known about. I knew that these questions will come one day. Where do babies come from? Because very enthusiastically we show our children a pregnant lady and say, do you know this auntie has a baby? And we're so happy about it. Our expressions, our body language makes the child equally enthusiastic and happy. Oh, there's a baby inside the tummy? And you're like, yeah. And then the next question pops up. How will it come out? And then what do? Uh-oh. Oh, the doctor. The doctor helps. They cut the tummy and they help the baby to come out. So the first pause that we take while answering the child picks that pause up and says, you don't know? Or you're hiding something from me? Which they're not processing as words in their mind, but that's what they have read. So the non-verbal communication that we speak about. Slowly my journey started and I went to this doctor to do a small course with him. I said, I need to find this out. What is the sex education all about? And I did about like 20-day course with him and a whole world opened up. I said, I just didn't know how to speak. Maybe I knew I would just sail through. I wouldn't come out as a liar to my child, but I just didn't know so many things. So many. So what I want to discuss with you today are just a few little things what I have realized and I wanted every parent to know. So the first one was, what is sexuality education? So from sex education, that became sexuality education. Because when I said sex education, people only heard sex. The education was a very small part which they just didn't want to hear. You talk about sex? I was like, yeah, but that's only a teeny-meeny part of what I talk about. So I educated myself and I said, it's sexuality education. So the first question what I ask parents is, what is sexuality education? Is it all about just the activity, the physical activity of sex? No. It is so much more. It is everything to do about one's self. Whether it is the sexuality we believe we have, so we say a gender is one, biologically what we see ourselves as, but inside we could feel something completely different. Who is going to help us recognize that? So the parent is the person who has to help recognize the child. And accept. Reproductive system. We talk about digestive system, we talk about respiratory system, we talk about so many systems in our body. Our school books don't talk about reproductive system. Why? Such a natural process. And every human being will be wanting to have a child at some point in life. We don't talk about it. Hesitation. Judgmental. We are scared. What if I start talking? And if my child goes outside and talks, then what? I'll get calls. Relationships. 50% or more marriages still happen as an arranged marriage. So while our whole lives we have taught our girls to cover up, not to talk to boys, because you have to focus on your studies and then work, nowadays work, otherwise it wasn't even work. But now it's time for you to get married. So look at a boy, meet him for 3 days, not even full days, and then go get married to him. And on the first night, open yourselves absolutely naked to him and start your life. All the adult issues that we have today with our sex and sexuality, like any other problem, crops from the childhood. We've been blocked by then. That sex is not good, talking about it is not good, feeling sexual is not good. In our country, we also have a lot of God-fearing parents instead of God-loving parents. So everything that they don't want us to do, they say, God will punish you. We grow up with that thought. And as soon as we hit a puberty and we start having sexual thoughts, we think we're going to be punished for it, which is actually so normal. Human sexuality is also about intimacy. Having sex is just a physical part of it. How do you connect to the partner you've chosen? We don't speak about these things to our children. Not at all. In fact, when we having a conversation with our spouses, we don't even explain certain things to our children. We let them just assume things. So between me and my husband, when we have smaller fights, we don't hide it from our children. We fight right in front of our children. So when my son was very small, he would get scared because the voices are loud that time. So I would stop arguing, take my son with me and say, it's part of a relationship. You will fight, but what you have to learn and know is you can come back. And every time me and my husband patched up, my son was the happiest one. So today it doesn't bother them. Oh, they're fighting? Okay, no problem. They'll be back together. So that's what we instill in our children. Everyday cases, every day we teach them something. But today the scenario is we're teaching them only how much to study, hygiene, and food. You're not eating. It is also about birth control. We know our teenagers today are going out, having relationships. The thinking is changing. We no longer wait for a marriage to have a sexual partner. So who's going to teach them that if you are going to start a family, if you're going to have a sexual relationship, you can bear children? It's all about that. It's all about the STDs. It's all about the responsibility towards sex. So sex, again, being the activity, there's so much responsibility surrounding that. How to choose a partner, who to trust, the contraceptives to use, the hygiene, making sure that you respect your partner, making sure that you've taken consent before just forcing yourself onto your partner. So all of this sounds very adultish, but actually it starts from childhood. So when we are tickling our child and he's giggling and laughing, and when he says, stop, 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 what do? We tickle more because we know he's enjoying it. But if we only stopped as soon as he said stop, he would have learned no means no. Stop means stop. But what we do is we continue. And when they do with us, we don't understand where it's coming from. So human sexuality is a lot of things all about us, which we need to speak to our kids. The second biggest question comes to me is, when do you start sexuality education? So this is a question most of the parents have asked on different platforms, whether it's a panel discussion, whether it's a talk. So according to you, let me just throw this question for like 15 seconds. When do you start sexuality education, according to you? Sorry? Today? Kindergarten? Okay. Any other answer?
7.
When they question you? Okay. Somebody else was also answering? After? I'm sorry. After birth. Exactly. As soon as the child is born. Because the child is not recognizing your language. The child recognizes your touch. And if you're going to discriminate the gender of your child, so if I have a son and I'm bathing him, I avoid cleaning his genital area, or I hesitate, he recognizes what I'm doing. And that's what he will carry for the rest of his life. That's why you start sexuality education. And obviously in their childhood, like the kindergarten, by 2 years when they start speaking, you constantly use the correct terminology of the body parts. This is the only body part, vulva and penis, which has nicknames. None of the other body parts have nicknames. Something to think about. So that is where you start. The minute this is the first thing I ask any parent to do is stand in front of the mirror or with your partner, just say the word vulva and say the word penis. These words itself starts the empowerment. You'll feel so comfortable talking about it. Those words to start with will not come out of your mouth. So that's the first word we need to empower ourselves with. Before when they ask questions. So yes, there are a lot of times when we don't know exactly when our child is going to know what. So in today's times, most of the children who come to me for counseling are 10-year-olds who are watching porn. So at 9 and 10, parents don't think it is important to speak about porn, because before porn, there's so much else to speak about. But what today's kids are and the pace they are going, so yes, definitely when they ask questions, if you've missed out the bus. But otherwise, before you think, you know, how their sexual developments are, you have to be extremely educated to know, okay, by 10, 11, 12, in today's times, the children are hitting puberty. So it's time for me to start educating them when they turn 9 or 8, depending on the maturity of the child. So before they even, before they question, you should be talking about it. But if you've missed, please be honest when they question you. And any opportunity you get. It's not a workshop with your children, you know, where you can say, okay, sit down, I need to talk to you today about something. Yeah? So as soon as you find an opportunity, you talk about it. So you know, okay, my child is about 7 years, 8 years, and he's been watching the sanitary pad packet in my washroom. Someday he's going to ask me. So when the advertisement comes on the TV, you can say, do you know what this is? Oh, you don't? And just say, oh, it's sanitary napkins. And then take the conversation if the child is asking you further. So the best way to educate your child is to grab an opportunity rather than making them sit down and forcibly listening to you. So while a story with some connect, with some metaphors, it becomes easy to talk to them, and they also don't feel awkward. The next one is, how should you educate your child? So the first thing I would say is, first we need to educate ourselves. We don't know a lot of things. So today when I go talking to parents and when I tell the women that we have 2 different holes. One is for the birth and the period, and the second one where we urinate from. Women don't know. Women don't know. Yeah. I've had so many cases where one of the funniest cases was where a woman didn't know that the child was going to be born through the vagina. She thought the child was going to come from the bum. Now, this is limits. Limits. So educate yourself first. And the most important thing is to be comfortable talking about it. If I'm going to hesitate, if my voice is going to be low, if I'm going to look down, and if I'm not going to be comfortable with the topic, the person who I'm talking to will be reading all that rather than listening to what I'm saying. So as a parent, you need to be extremely comfortable talking to your child about these topics. Be honest, because that's where you're building your relationship with your child. And what's the point in lying? So where do babies come from? In Hindi, we have a kahavat, we say, Bhagwan ki deen hai. It's like the stork gets the, baby. Just because we don't know how to answer that. Just because. So be honest with your children. It's not such a big deal. Not such a big deal. Be crisp about it. We were just doing a workshop with Suma, and she said, don't use unnecessary words. Don't make it long. Keep it short, as much as the child needs to know. So when the child comes and says, Mama, what is gender? Mama, what is sex? And we go about explaining the whole process, knowing that we have to be honest. And he might just ask, oh, I was just filling the form. What do I write here? It's gender. So you have to know the age of your child. You have to know where it's coming from, rather than giving them unnecessary information. It will come. The time will come when you will have to speak about it. But let's judge whether that was the time or no. Buy time if you don't know the answer. There's no harm in telling your child, I don't know. Just buy time and say, I'll come back. Let me just read about it. Don't Google in front of them, because they're going to Google behind you. Please Google it. Exactly. Exactly. And nowadays, the teachers or even me, we give status to Google. We call it Google Baba. We call it the Google God. See what we're doing. See what we're doing. Why should a parent educate a child? Simply because, one, definitely they are curious children. Curiosity is the nature of a human being. That's how we learn stuff. And if these kids are curious, and they will want to know because it's a natural process, they will find it out from somewhere or the other. So you decide where your child should be finding out the information from. I would say, come to me. Yes.
New York City, and there's a Mount Sinai Hospital, and they have a Savvy program. It's sexually abused victims of incest, and I take counseling there every week on Wednesday. And I think that's a very great initiative.
Yes.
You know, I wonder if there's anything like that in Bombay.
We have lots of NGOs, we have lots of organizations who are doing a lot of work on this. We do have a lot of support for the child abuse, whether not only sexually, but in any other way. We have Arpan, we have Childline, we have Tarshi in Delhi. We have a lot of organizations here. People are working extensively on this. Yes. But again, there are a lot of conflict in beliefs. Some believe incest is not wrong. So you have to decide who you want to go to. That's how it is. Coming back to why you should, for age-appropriate information, simple things, to cut it short, it's the curiosity of the child. So you should be talking to them about it and being honest. Now, where would you educate your child? Do you believe school should educate them? Educate. वो तो geography history भी घर पे ही होना चाहिए actually तो. But yes, it should start from home.
Yeah, so the school my child goes to, they believe in educating children along with the parents. So school and parents both work hand in hand. The school will inform the parents, send emails, what they have taught, and they tell us how to take all the homework done or anything that they have taught. In fact, my son knows the part of body organs more than me, and he's just 5.5 years old.
Age
And
is
I
not-
was
yeah.
like, yeah, I was surprised at the first, but then this is what I think that school and parents working hand in hand to educate the child is
The best way
The
to
best way to
yes,
do it,
Yes.
yeah.
So it is said till 8 years, the child grasps whatever is taught to him like a sponge. So knowing the names, it's not surprising. It's not surprising at all. But the point is, school and parents, yes, one. But do you think the child is waiting for the period to come in to ask a question? Like, okay, today is the bio period, only then I will ask? No. There are no periods at home. There are no lecture timings at home. And the younger ones don't even know what is an appropriate place. So while you're shopping in the mall and you walk around the aisle where there are sanitary pads, they're going to pick it up and say, Mama, this is what we have in our washroom. Sure.
Though I have challenges of my own with my children, but this is a small incident I would like to share with everybody. This is about 4 years back. My son was, now he's 16, so he was about 11, 12. And my daughter is now 11, so 4 years she would have been 7. So we were going out, me and children, we were deciding on which place we should eat. So one wanted to eat at KFC, the other one at Pizza Hut, and I wanted some Indian food. So in the end, I just said, okay, forget it. We'll go to the food court. So I just made a statement, and my son said, Mom, you are a confused sperm. There was a movie, for those who don't know, there was a movie called Vicky Donor. And he had seen that movie a couple of months back. So he just said, Mom, you are a confused sperm. And then I just said, no, I'm a confused ova. So my daughter, who was listening to it, she was 7, and she said, ये sperm क्या होता है? What? I'll translate. And ये ova क्या होता है?
Right.
And that means, what is a sperm? What is an ova? So I just started to answer, and my son said, wait, Mom, I'll give her the answer. I said, okay,
Imagine that.
what? He said, when the father's sperm meets with the mother's ova, that is the first baby created, and that is you and me.
Fabulous.
Thank you so
Fabulous.
much.
So Vicky Donor taught him that. Yes.
The movie taught him that. So he
Yes.
had his education in school.
Right. But this is where most of the children get the education from the environment, from the society. It's not always formally done. So that's why I took this topic and said, parents, please, it's somewhere it needs to be done formally. The most important thing, can I finish this quick? Because, yeah. The most important thing, what I wanted to say is, the question can pop up anywhere. And you should not hesitate. You should not hesitate. It doesn't matter where it comes from. It's as good as saying, oh, we have Pepsodent in our. You would just say, yes, and move on. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. What is, last 1 minute. So what is your role as a parent? One is to educate yourself first. There are a lot of myths which are doing the rounds for centuries. It's time to bust them. It's time to understand what actually the human nature is, rather than listening to those stories. And there were reasons why there are why there's so much of hesitation, and the topic has become a taboo. There are reasons. I'll not go into it today, but there's history. It's time to understand what we were before that. India was a country of Kama Sutra, is a country of Kama Sutra and Khajuraho. We should not be the ones shying away from this topic. Definitely not. So your role as a parent, very quickly, educate yourself, be honest, be patient, support your child's level of comfort, take care of your body language, very, very important, very important. Tone, the words that you use. It's important to teach your children values and culture. I might come from a place where wearing a bikini on a beach is not okay. But we do travel, and my children see the difference in culture and clothing at every different place. So it's my job to educate them what we are stepping into or where we are going and how are they different and why they are different. It's a story. Give it to them. Make them realize there are values which I have in my home, my neighbor might have another value. So if you have chosen me to be a parent, let's connect and let's see how our values work together. And the most important, teach them consent and respect. We don't teach them that you need to ask before you think it's your possession. Relationships are not possessions. You need to ask before even you hold a hand, and respect the desires of the other person. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nayati.
Anu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will continue with tomorrow, and I'm
Yes.
just giving you a few questions that you might think about. So I'm not going to give you case studies, but I'm going to ask you questions. What I want you to go back with these questions and come back tomorrow, because tomorrow is sexual awareness and cancer awareness. The first question, should child who is 21 years of age be sleeping with his parents? Don't answer me right now. And if you think he's still sleeping with his parents, between the parents, what do you think are going to be the conflicts that he is going to have? And how is he going to carry these conflicts forth? First. Second one, if your daughter or your son gets sexually touched at home by anybody, including if it is the father, mother, don't think ladies don't abuse. If it is anybody who is touching you in a way that you don't want to be touched, and your child comes back home and tells you about it, how will you handle it? I just want you to go back, don't answer anything right now, stay with it. What are the conflicts that you think, even if you didn't know meta-medicine, what are the conflicts that you think could get created because of that? And what if? And what if you find out your daughter got raped? What if you find out, yes, it's a fact, it happens. I know the cases where it happens. It's not about me knowing, it's about you knowing. Yeah? What if that happens? Will you throw the child out of the house and send her to the university, or send her outside so that nobody knows about it? If she gets pregnant, how are you going to handle it? Very important. Is sex, you want her to be safe only because she shouldn't have a baby tomorrow and get pregnant? Or is there something more to it? I just want you to think. Because without you thinking, because we call ourselves in Hindi Gyani, that means we think we are really, really giving empowerment. I'm asking you, how will you give empowerment to a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a baby who is in a diaper, who gets touched by a man just because he's not okay? Think about it. And I leave you with that note. After that, we will just take 10 minutes after this and call it Shabba Khair after that. I'm so sorry about the timing. We're trying to stretch it, but it's just not happening. Yeah? सोचिए और सोच के बिना please मत जाइएगा. Think. Because your thinking over there, you sitting over there could make a difference not just to you. You want to do something about people? Don't call them Nirbhaya. That's the word that was given to the kid who got raped in New Delhi. TV newspapers covered her. What if you were the Nirbhaya? What if your child was a Nirbhaya? Will you still allow people to call her Nirbhaya? You know what word Nirbhaya means? Without fear. Think about it. So I would say, before you allow yourself to become therapist, think about how can you empower the children, because if you empower yourself and your child, you may be empowering a whole generation. Thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.